Hello, morning everyone. Well, hello everyone, wherever you are. Thank you very much for being here. This is once again one of our new members presentations, where the new members of the month will present their projects or games. Um, there's a lot of new members this month. Very happy about it. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. I will first start introducing the Blockchain Game Alliance, as usual, and then we will move on to today's presenters. Um, okay, so give me just a second to share some slides. Okay, great. Well, okay, so thank you very much for being here today. The Blockchain Game Alliance is proud to present our new members today. And so, about the Blockchain Game Alliance, the Blockchain Game Alliance is an organization committed to promoting blockchain within the game industry. Our goal is to spread awareness about blockchain technologies and encourage the adoption by highlighting their potential to foster new ways to create, publish, play, and build strong communities around games. We're also strong advocates for diversity and more inclusivity of women within the industry. We provide an open forum for individuals and companies to share knowledge and collaborate, create common standards, establish best practices, and to network. These are some of our core activities: networking, researching and reporting, representing the blockchain game companies, and advocating for blockchain within the game industry in all its forms. So thank you very much to all our sponsors: AMD, My Neighbor Alice, Illuvium, One Way Block, Star Atlas, Gift Games, Tevaera, V Empire, Splinterlands, Ubisoft Saya, Fear, Gameloft, DNA Cat Kingdom, Starmon, Mirror World, Dogami, Decimated, Wincom, Vulcan Forged, Chain Guardians, Syndrome, Super Evil Megacorp, Cryptomon, Meta Knights, Gatheon Gaming, Aurori, Mobox, Fight Legends, Tilting Point, Mythical Games, Non-Fungible Digital Entertainment Assets, Binance NFT, GamerHash, Game Exchange, Corpo, TriumphX, Drops, Cartesi James, Algorand, Thesis, Anarchy, Boson, Polygon, Chromia, Nexttype, Yoshi, NFTB, MetaGameHub DAO, Kardashian, Sushi, Animoca Brands, Contribute, Radar, Galaxy Interactive, Simplex Consensus, Polkadot, G2A, Dacoco, BR Capital, Unix, HackerNoon, Bitcraft, Criterion, Tilting Point, and Wax. So a lot of sponsors. Thank you very much to you all and to all our members as well, who are there are companies uh, that include games and gaming companies, chains and protocols, developer solutions, esports, press, media, and many others among the industry. So these are some of the events that you usually do. Interviews with industry leaders and video game executives, collecting NFT series, women inclusive dedicated events, free speaking opportunities and conferences, workshops on thematics, new members presentations such as this one, free speaking opportunities and conferences, and the BGA game demo day, which is actually happening this Friday, this same week. So let's get started with today's presentation. We're starting with Pachi. Pachi, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So nice to meet you all, and thank you for the warm welcome from Blockchain Gaming Alliance. So as you can see, so we are MetaSoccer, and let me quickly draw about myself and also our video game studio. So my name is Pachi Barrios. I'm the CEO and also co-founder of Champion Games, a 6 years old video game studio. The past years, we were focused on delivering soccer games, casual, fantasy, managers, on mobile games. Last year, we tried to pivot our current games into the blockchain ecosystem. And the main consequence is basically the game that we are now talking is basically MetaSoccer. MetaSoccer is what we call the first soccer metaverse. So basically the mission of MetaSoccer is to merge a really proven game, not only in terms of monetization, also in terms of engagement, also in terms of retention, that is the football manager. So try to merge the football manager with the blockchain ecosystem. And if you think about, the tools that we are offering to the investors, to the guilds, to the real clubs, in terms of the football manager, and how we can bring this football manager into the ecosystem of the blockchain. So what we are delivering is a soccer metaverse. We are addressing to three main shifters, basically video games, soccer. Half of the populations are playing video games and are watching at least one soccer match. And also we are adding the new shifter of the metaverse. So altogether, we are aiming at 900 billion market. In 2024. So this is a region market that is not appearing. In terms of our game, so as I said before, what we are executing is a football manager. So as you know, the football manager allows the users not only to create the club, to manage the financial, to create merchandising, to create also the stadium. So what we are doing is basically replicating all the business model that soccer has in the blockchain, and all of that created through our economy based on our token, the MSU. And what we are doing, the mission, what we are executing is this game, a football manager in the blockchain ecosystem. It's built on Polygon, and we are having a really good milestones as we are going to explain in the next slides. And our vision is basically to create the next soccer, to create the next paradigm of soccer. So what we are doing is creating team from scratch, born in the metaverse. So what we want is that the real life clubs, as they have the men, the woman, the under 21 clubs, they can also have, for instance, the metaverse club. So this is our vision, and this is our goal that we want to achieve in the next years. In terms of the game, so as we were developing managers in the last years for mobile games, so we know that, for instance, the assets that we need to deliver. So, for instance, we are going to start delivering user scouts and players. Our unique selling proposition is the user scout. So the user scout is the manager that has special abilities, has an genetics, and the user scout is the one who is going to find the football players. So that means that the user scout is the one who is going to mint the football players, and the football players are going to be a decentralized market for the users. And for instance, with one user scout, you can create 5, 6, 7, even 8 football players that you can use in your team. Okay, so both are going to be the first assets. And one important thing here is the football part. We are adding aging to the football players in order to create some deflection in the game. In terms of the gameplay, so long story short, so it's a football manager, so you can play as an owner, as what we call manager, or you can play as a coach, or both. You as an owner or manager, you can manage the financial, buy and sell football players. You can create the stadium. You can create your staff, etc. You can buy players, as I said before, and also you can delegate. So more or less like Axis scholarship scheme. So you can delegate the coach. You can delegate to be the manager to another user, or you can also play the matches, the friendly matches, PvP, PvE matches, train, manage the morale. So all what the coach is doing. Okay. So this is basically the gameplay that we are now providing to the game. And in terms of the competitions, so we are going to start with 3 main competitions. So America, Europe, Asia, depending on the time zone. And also we are creating a kind of pyramid of divisions. Okay, and we are going to have a first league that is going to be the professional league for each continent. So this is the goal that we have. We have many ways that we are, that the user as an individual investor can earn money. The big ones, so winning matches, finishing the season. So as the current real life leagues are doing, so you win matches if you, you can finish the tournament, the divisions in the very first position, so you can earn money. Also selling players, getting a sponsorship. We are going to have big sponsorships and as a user, you are going to have different placements, not only the shirt, you are going to have also the stadiums, and then you can get a passive income through the sponsorship as well. And finally, renting the stadium. Okay, the stadium is going to be a big asset for the users, and you can share, you can split the stadium in shares, and you can have a passive income with the stadium. Our business model is quite straightforward. I mean, we are selling NFT assets. As I said before, we are starting with the youth scouts. Also, we are starting to sell football players. We have some official licensed real life football players. For instance, we have Thomas Partey, and this month we are going to present a Ballon d'Or footballer that, I mean, is going to be an NFT, but the most important thing is that it's going to be a playable NFT. So you can buy the NFT, you can collect the NFT, but also you can play with the NFT in your team. And finally, in mid-year, we are going to start selling the stadiums, the main asset for this year. Also, as I said before, we have several transactions in the game. So not only the buying and selling players, also minting players, ticketing, merchandising. We are going to replicate all the business model, and all those business models will work with our main token, the MSU. So we are going to have a fee over all the transactions. So there is a 4% fee. Some of them is going to bar, another to the ecosystem, another, I mean, to the staking rewards. And finally, sponsorship. So here we are glad to have so far 3 sponsors for the team, and we are going to have an sponsors, and then we are going to give the possibility to the users to get those sponsors, to receive a passive income from these sponsors, and to use the sponsors in the different placements of the team. Our roadmap is basically, so we are starting with different features in the game. So scouting, so we started with the minting of the user scouts. Then we have the minting, and in March we are going to have the first gameplay, the beta gameplay of the friendly matches, and the most important milestone will be in June, when we are going to launch the career mode. Okay, so this is more or less the big milestones in our roadmap. And we have also big milestones that we are also bringing, not only individual investors as group owners, we are also bringing guilds. So next month we are going to announce the first guilds that are going to be clubs in the MetaSoccer, and also real life football clubs. Okay, so we have signed so far 5 real life clubs that are going to be also clubs in our metaverse, and we are going to announce during the next month of March. So those are the main milestones of the team. And basically, as we are here for the long run, so I mean, we are executing a football manager, and we know that our vision is quite big, is to create the next football, to create the metaverse football, and allow clubs to be there, and also guilds, and also investors. So what we want is to assure an insane economy, and this is why we are applying a token bonding curve to the economy. So as you know, token bonding curve is a smart contract that allows, I mean, the different improvements in the economy. One of them is, for instance, mitigate the pumps and dams. Also, is creating some liquidity reserve in the company and for the users. So we really think that the token bonding curve is the best. I will say the best situation for the current market, and we are applying to our economy. So our MSU token is based on this token bonding curve. Finally, I'm going to skip these slides because that's quite straightforward. And finally, let me end the presentation with the team. We are a 22 people team. We have people from the Central Arm, from King, from Scopely. So we are a technical company that we were, I mean, working in the mobile games industry, I mean, the past 5 years, and now really focus on the blockchain. And also we have a strong backers, I mean, behind us. We have, for instance, on the equity side, we have people, VCs like Play Ventures, and on the crypto investor, we have Defiance, Parafide, Maker, Monk, another crypto investor. And I think that that's all. So I try to summary a little bit our big project that is bringing this football manager, creating this first soccer metaverse, and also our current milestones. So thank you all for your time. And you have any questions on this?
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. How can people request to participate in the beta launch?
Yeah, I mean, so we are going to have a white list on our community, so you can follow Discord, Telegram, or Twitter when we are going to share at the end of, mid March, we are going to announce the beta of first gameplay. And then we are going to open to the community, and then we are going to release to everyone. And as I said before, from March to June, when we are going to launch the career mode, with all the divisions. So we are going to launch different features, different gameplays in the games, like the stadiums, like the financials, etc. During between March and June.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So yeah, if you have any links that you would like to share, just send them to me in the private chat, and I can post
Okay.
them for anyone to see. Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. So let's move on to Lucas. Lucas, you're on mute, just in case.
Yes, hello
Yeah,
everyone. I'm Lucas. Can you see my screen? You should, I guess.
yeah, there it is.
Cool. All right. Hello, I'm Lucas. I'm the founder of Solantasy. We're building a browser-based 2D play-to-earn RPG game on Solana. And in the following couple of minutes, I would like to run you through and hopefully get you excited about the game. So the origin of Solantasy. So Solantasy initially started as a side project, and that was all because I was minting NFTs on Ethereum, and I got really frustrated with the minting experience there because the gas fees sometimes were higher than the actual price of the NFT. So I was looking for alternatives, and where I ended up with was on Solana, and I was really surprised by the minting experience there because you have low transaction fees, they're fast, and overall, they have a super cool browser extension called Phantom. So I end up not just minting NFTs there, but building my own side project. And since I'm an advocate of fantasy and I really like pixel art, I came up with the Soul Warriors. I launched them, a small community gathered around it, and two other collections emerged from it, the Wizard and the Archer, as you can see, and volume built up. We minted those three collections, and I figured, okay, now we have the NFTs, we need to have some utility behind it. Like, actually, what is really cool, I think, with NFTs is creating a game, and that's where we ended up with. Like, I think NFTs are often a bit demonized when it comes to gaming, but I think the long-term vision there is really bright because I think they give a lot of freedom to gamers, and that's what we want. So I assembled a small team of builders to help build that vision and that future for Solantasy. We have Andy, our community manager. He's the eyes and ears of the project. He's taken up all the feedback we get from the community, and you will interact with him through our Discord and Twitter. Beyond Andy, we have Leonard and Max. They have been building Solantasy since November. And at the end, we have Brian, or Se. He's our game designer, game art designer from Malaysia. And as you see in a bit, he has created all the in-game assets. So what is our concrete mission beyond what I told in the beginning? So we are on a mission to create a fun and captivating RPG game on Solana, which beyond its game experience rewards players with tokens, granting them economic opportunities. I think you should imagine play-to-earn gaming, or just gaming in general, or more specifically play-to-earn gaming, as like a sundae. Because the cherry on top, in my opinion, is the play-to-earn aspect, or the earning aspect. But the sundae, the chunk of the whole thing, has to be right as well. And it has to taste well. And the analogy would be there that the core game experience has to be fun in itself. And the earning aspect is just the cherry on top, which makes the whole thing really great at the end. As I said, we started game development in November. We have created a concept before that, and created the company in between. So it was all a bit of a mess, but we ended up with a pretty cool first demo, I would suppose. And before I start, I want to quickly briefly outline where the NFTs play the role here, because for once, I think, so first you have the NFTs, the collection of the 10,000, which allow you to play the game with. And the cool thing there is that the NFTs attributes and items will be reflected in game. So meaning that if you have an NFT with rare items, hence stronger items in game, you have a slight advantage over those NFTs who have perhaps a bit weaker ones. Doesn't mean that you can't play the game without investing something up front. You will be. This means you can choose between the 3 classes with base stats and base items. You have a slight disadvantage there, but there is basically the choice for everyone who's interested in playing the game. Let me quickly show you the first game engine prototype. This was built with Unity. That's what we're using for our game here. Let me quickly try to do it full screen. So you can see a soul archer here running through a dungeon, defeating mobs, and using his skills. So basically the item system will be so that you have an inventory system, and as you defeat mobs, you get loot, you get experience points, you collect Solantasy tokens, and you get stronger and stronger. I think I've shown the chunk of it. Let me quickly go to the next slide here. Oops. And beyond the item system, that will also allow you to trade those items for Solantasy tokens. So you don't just get to earn them, but you also get to spend them in game. So the cycle closes. You have a talent tree, which in my opinion is crucial for a good RPG game, because beyond just choosing between those 3 classes, within each class you can establish different metas. So you might be, I prefer to be a tank personally. I like to be like the defensive guy, and within this tank class you can choose between being a bit more offensive, a bit more defensive, and you have those options. And this will, in my opinion, create a really cool dynamic where you get to create different strategies and play with your friends and raid through certain dungeons and really make the core experience great. Because as a gamer myself, I think this is really, really important. To give you a high-level look on the game economy, so players have the opportunity to trade characters and items on our NFT marketplace eventually. And the royalties there, they partly fund the game development team, and on the other hand, the play-to-earn pool, which grants rewards to the players, and players then get to spend those rewards either in-game, on upgrades, on other related in-game transactions. And I think really there it is important to highlight why Solana is so important, even with the recent complaints about network congestion. It is just part of new technologies that there are some hiccups in between, but the bottom line is there transactions are fast and cheap, and this allows for microtransactions to be profitable, at least if you measure it against the price of the item and perhaps not the time invested into it. But I think the overall picture is really interesting one, and you can see it here on that diagram. Quickly to give you a look at our roadmap for this year or the next couple of months, we have started to raise the strategic round for Solantasy, and we're going to release the game MVP in mid Q1, so really soon towards the end of February. There it will be specific to Web2, and also single player only. It is important that players get to test out the dungeons, get to test out the skill tree, and we want to make sure that we're on the right track there and build with the community, and not just in this isolated mode where we perhaps would build for years and years, and the eventual game wouldn't be favorable. Towards Q3 and Q4, we are planning to release the alpha with the first Solana program, so smart contracts implemented. And what we haven't defined yet is the time of our IDO and token airdrop for NFT holders. I think that's what that's about it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them now. And thanks for your attention.
Great. Thank you very much, Lucas. Well, I see a question here. So they want to know what's the difference between this game and any other jump and run? What makes it unique? And I think that I kind of know what you're going to say, but just let us know, please.
Well, beyond the play to earn aspect, I think play to earn is at its really beginning, because we have seen a lot of great great projects coming up this year, and there will probably be many more to come. But I think at its core, it's the play to earn, and also it's not just a jump and run. It's an RPG game, so you don't just it's more than a Mario. You could more imagine it like a 2D Diablo game. I think that's what makes it unique. Yes.
Yeah, well, I love platformers and RPGs, so very excited about it for sure. And I have another question here. I think that you already talked a little bit about it. So will it be multiplayer? Yes. And roguelike?
Pardon?
Is it going to be roguelike?
Roguelike in what sense?
Roguelike is those kind of games such as Hades. I don't know if you played it. Or Returnal, where if you die, you have to start all over again from the beginning.
No. You get to keep the inventory, and you get to keep the state of the character. That's also like the cash share. If you play with your NFT, it will persist the game state, even if you sell it to someone else. So essentially, if you end up abandoning the game for whatever reasons, perhaps you have achieved what you wanted to achieve. Happened to me as well with other RPGs I played. More often than not, it is prohibited to sell the account, and when it comes to NFTs, it's not. And I think it makes a lot of sense to also then store the state with the NFT together in a smart contract. And yeah, if you decide to get rid of it, the state will be transferred as well. Yeah, but yeah, not roguelike.
Okay, and I have a question. On the multiplayer, how many players can play a single game?
We haven't defined it yet. Yes, we haven't defined it yet, but it will probably be smaller groups, so like 4 to 5 people, perhaps in the beginning. So not like massive, like World of Warcraft wise, where you play like with many people together. Is like small groups, a squad. Yes.
Okay, and probably they will have to have different roles, each one. For instance, I will
not
be
necessarily
a shield. No? Oh, okay.
No, necessarily no.
Okay,
we
great.
Also you can play the game on your own, but on to enter dungeons on harder difficulties, you would necessarily need groups and different classes. Like a final boss would be rather difficult without a tank, for example.
Yeah, awesome. Well, it looks very cool. So thank you very much, Lucas, for presenting it to us. Thank you. So we're moving on to Taiwan. You ready? Yeah, you can see your slides here. I think you're in mute. You're still on mute. Let me unmute for you. No, you're still on mute. Oh, hi. Yeah, there you are. Yeah.
Great. Hi, sorry about that. Hi, my name is Taiwan Yun. I'm the Chief Business Officer at Super Evil Megacorp. We have been, so Super Evil Megacorp has been established in 2012. So we've been around already 9 years so far. And then we are actually a comprised of a game making veterans from AAA and mobile games. We have around 80 plus developers in the company, and then the key members has a background from the like console AAA games, PC MMO games, and also mobile. I myself has a 27 plus years of experience in online games, or I should have said I should say like more of the like metaverse for the last 27 years. I built one of the members of a World of Warcraft, World of Tanks, and so on and so forth. And my like colleagues at Super Evil also has like same or better experience than myself. So fundamentally, Super Evil is built around a like cutting edge cross-platform engine tech. So we started with an engine and then started to think about what we can achieve with our game engine. And then the game like Evil engine is a proprietary console-grade C++ engine optimized for constrained device, and then this actually allow us to build a game that we want in a like any kind of like target devices and in a fidelity we want to build. So this allow us to create a games like Vainglory, which was announced and delivered in 2014, and then the one of the first mobile game, and then we got like numerous awards around Vainglory, and then that was a lot of it because not only we were like AAA game developers, but also we've been using our game engine was one of the key reasons why we could deliver that kind of fidelity on mobile in 2014. And then that tradition is continuing with Catalyst Black, which we will be actually planning to release this year. And then Catalyst Black was also featured in iPhone 13 Pro's announcement in September. It is a like epic multiplayer combat action game. So our goal has so this is the like in-game shot of Catalyst Black. Like remember, this is the mobile game. It is this screenshot was captured in game as well. And then the like the beauty of games that we make comes from the fact that we like can actually build this custom build this around our game engine for mobile devices, but this can apply to any other like platform out there. And the like our thing is that the like we have a core 4 gaming pillars that we want to like master. One is that the like natively designed combat that actually has a cross-platform parity, meaning that like we want to deliver a great combat experience for players, regardless you are on mobile, you're on PC, or you're on console, or whatever target platform you have. And then with like deep economy that can satisfy thousands hours of progression. And then third and fourth, most importantly, and then the reason why we decide to come into the like crypto gaming or Web3 gaming is that like we also deeply care about our community, and then building a game based on community with the frictionless social was one of our fundamental goals. And then also the like allow our players to create content and then the consumption as a part of a key game experience. And so the as we think we've been looking into like Web3 for a while, and we're thinking about how we can be a part of that. Or can we have a way to build a game that actually not just the like be a writing on the like play to on phenomena, but also like how can we create a game that actually built around gaming community, and then the community becomes not only the player but also the like owner or creator of the like game itself, was our like fundamental dream and goal. And then we finally like mid last year we decided that like there is a way we can build that kind of game, and then that's where we like secretly built a small team inside the company and started to really think about how we can build that kind of game. We are not yet announced a game as of yet, but we joined BGA to be a true part of the community, and then the once we are ready, we will want to share the project we are working on. And what we want to do is that like not start with the Web3 economics first, but we want to complete the entire game design and also build a game, and then essentially going into the sharing of the tokenomics and gameplay all at the same time, so that players can actually see what is happening in game from the get-go of this project. That's why we are not yet ready to announce the game as of yet, but we will be in the next few months' time. Thank you.
Okay,
if you
awesome.
have any questions.
Yeah, no questions. Well, apparently there's someone who's a fan of Vainglory, just so you know, and they didn't know it was you. So, well, you already have a kind of a fan club here in the comments.
Thank you. Yes, we are the makers of Vainglory.
Yes, and no, just as a general question, how are you thinking to leverage blockchain into your games from now on, or the NFTs as well?
Well, so I think that there are two key fundamental factors there. Is that it's more about the community. So we have been really active in esports with Vainglory, and then one of the bigger problem we always face that how to build a sustainable ecosystem around esports, and that it was really difficult to do because there are so many different parties involved, and then having a common consensus for the creating a platform that esports itself can develop was really hard to do. And then the NFT based and crypto community way is a really interestingly good dispute way to build the esports around. That is one idea that we are looking into. Another one is that the fundamentally what we create is a competitive game, and then the as you play the game, you build a your credentials around you, and then that actually to us that is more of the the memorabilia you can bring into, and then also the celebrate. So we are looking at this more of the sports way, and then how every systems works around sports world and so on and so forth. And then we also cast so that is the esports angle, but at the same time we also like to have a lot of the content creation in Vainglory days, and then the so this distributed system is really good way to reward not only reward players who are playing, but also someone who create content, and then after a while, we can actually let players themselves create their own content, not only in videos and stories, but also the game characters balance. Maybe they can also host their own server. I think there are possibilities limitless, and then we are just to dabble into what's available.
Yeah, great. So, well, they will be able to own their own content too. Yeah, very excited about what's coming next, and hopefully everyone who already has played one of your games is already looking forward to more projects from you. Thank you very much, Taiwan, for presenting. So let's move on. And sorry because I mixed up. Actually, Ante was before you, Taiwan. So sorry for changing the order a little bit. So Ante, the stage is yours.
No worries. So thank you very much. First of all, happy to be here, and thank you for the invite. So, and that we can join the BGA, which is a pleasure from our side. So my name is Ante, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of the football club, actually the football company. And let me guide you through our vision. So, just a second, here we go. Okay, so what is the football club? So as the football club, so first of all, we are already in the public beta phase. So please feel free to download our application in the Android and also in the App Store. So you can play a little bit around, and every feedback is very, very welcome. So with the football club, or actually with the football company, we have a mission, and the mission is called to drive football culture through technology. What do we mean by that is not only to drive the sports, football as a sport from a technological perspective, but also, and most importantly, the football culture, because we believe that football as a sport lives throughout the community, throughout the lifestyle, and throughout the culture what football has. To give you just some brief background about the team and the founding team. So I'm building up this together with my brother, who is responsible for the whole product development. We have great investors on board with Nico Kovac, Robert Kovac, and Alen Augustincic. Nico and Robert Kovac are former head coaches of Bayern Munich and also former professional players. What is our big vision? Our big vision is that we want to become the metaverse of football fandom. And also what we mean by that is that we want, inside of the metaverse space, we want to become the place, everything around football, football culture, football lifestyle, and football community. How we want to achieve that is that we want to create and build up the leading NFT marketplace for virtual football and lifestyle goods. So now, because of all the reasons why NFTs and blockchain will revolutionize a lot of things, we are also using the technology to, let's say, mostly to replicate the physical world, bring it straight to the digital world, to create digital assets, and to monetize them in the metaverse space. So by saying that, we are creating a new, for all of our partners, new revenue streams, new business models. We are building a platform where clubs, competitions, players, and so on and so forth can use the platform to interact with their customers on a completely different way, and which leads to the last point, where we are talking a lot about brand loyalty, because we also assume that not every fan wants to buy a new jersey every year for $100, but maybe he's willing to pay like $10 to $15, and it has the same brand loyalty effect. So because the fans are not buying jerseys to become a better football player, they're buying jerseys to become part of the whole identity of something I love. And you see there some products flying around, and on the right side you see the avatar, and this is the core and the main story we have here. So on the right side is the avatar, and the avatar can buy all the NFT items. And why we choose also the symbolic of an avatar is because that's like the best way of how to represent my personal identity to everybody. So you're not just a profile image, you're not just a profile name. So it's all about, you know, the lifestyle I live, to express that, to which club do I belong, I can express that, which lifestyle, in a sense of, you know, which progress I made, or which status do I have inside of the community. We built there in this space a pretty unique, let's say, ecosystem. It's based on 3 pillars. It's all about play, connect, and monetize. And by play, we mean all about gamification, you know, to keep up the retention, to keep up the motivation. You can earn coins, tokens, you can raise some levels. So it's an overarching narrative we're building here for the user, and also giving him a reason why he should buy NFT items, because the whole part about utility and ability is a very, very important aspect on our platform. Then the next thing is all about connect and community. So we're building a platform where you as an identity can exist in between a community, where you are getting recognized by others, to get also feedback, to share some thoughts, and to communicate on this platform. And the next part is all about monetize, but monetization from a user's perspective, because first of all, we are a free-to-play platform, and then we are a play-to-earn platform, which means throughout the gameplay, how we build it, you can earn tokens, you can earn coins. With these coins, you can buy NFT items, and with these NFT items, either you can wear them on your avatar, or you can trade them on the NFT marketplace. So The MVP version we have currently in the App Store. So it's the 0.1 version. It's based on a daily fantasy football game. So in the very first part, you have different challenges. So what is a challenge? It's a fantasy game challenge, which means there is sometimes there is just one match. We can mix up different matches. Or a couple of matches, 2 matches, 3 matches, a whole match day, a whole season, for example. Then we can also, so because it's very, very flexible, we can combine different competitions. So we can use the Bundesliga with the Serie A, with the Netherlands League, for example, and there to mix up different challenges. Then a user joins the challenge. Now he has to line up the best possible team for the weekend, which means that the whole fantasy game is based on live data. We're converting all the events into points, into experience points, and then we can build a score out for that. Then in the next step, you're joining a virtual stadium. Inside of the stadium, you see all the avatars join the challenge. There's a lot of content going on. But most importantly, you can track your team live. And the better your team performs, the higher you get into the ranking. The higher you are in the ranking, the more coins you can get. With the coins, you can buy NFT items inside of the application, which is kind of an innovation we created here. Then if you buy the NFT item, either you can equip that on your avatar, or if you have a cool item or a good item, you can trade it on the NFT marketplace. The most important thing to mention here is the concept about our NFT items. And as I mentioned before, so the whole part about utility and ability is very, very important to not just have cool looking items or just to have like these kind of collectibles. So for us, we are adding through technology, let's say some layers to increase a value of an item. So first of all, the question is all about scarcity. So how often is an item available on the platform? Let's say if you're buying a Cristiano Ronaldo jersey from Manchester United, it will not be available unlimited, so there will be some limitation. And the next and maybe the most interesting part is that every item will have a kind of a superpower, we call it. So usually if Cristiano Ronaldo would score a goal in real life, he would get in the game 80 experience points, for example. But together with the jersey, he gets 240 experience points, which means that we're implementing here somehow multiples on some events. And also not to gain experience points, you can also gain some tokens. And lastly, you can also, is the question all about how often can you use this superpower? How we, or on which blockchain we built this, so everything is based on Flow with a very simple reason to become the metaverse of football fandom, to have like the mainstream people inside of our platform and to build a big community. We had to choose a very simple blockchain. And so for us, the most important thing is to build an NFT and blockchain product for the masses. And this is also the same approach with Flow. Also, the whole transaction speed with Flow is great. The gas fee cost is very low. It's nearly for free, and also the CO2 emissions, which is very important, is nearly at zero. Our most important USPs. So while the whole market is, let's say, focused on moments, on trading cards, on tokens, on some kind of collectibles, we figured out a space, and so we are calling it virtual NFT merchandise. And this is where we are actually also focused, and our biggest door opener to any kind of competitions and clubs. Then the next part is that we are app-based, so app-based NFT blockchain game, one of the very first on the market. Then also how we build up the whole user experience for a blockchain product. It's very simple to use. And maybe the last thing to mention is that we are a completely free-to-play game, so there are no any kind of barriers for the user. He's welcome. It's very easy to use, and also he can earn some real money on the platform. How the avatars look like, how the products are looking like on our platform, some ideas about collectibles, which will be dropped very, very soon. And yeah, last thing, to talk a little bit about the roadmap. So we are about to launch our marketplace very, very soon. Then we are starting about to create our own tokenomics because our biggest goal for the next few months is to release our own token in the summer this year. We are starting getting out of beta very soon. So in February, we are about to create a very loud campaign over here in Germany, and then to sell our very first jersey drop, which is everything. So we are doing is actually officially licensed. And then there will be a very cool founder's key in March with a lot of cool benefits. And that's all about it, about the football club.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Ante, for presenting. It looks really great, and I'm loving the UI that you showed of the app. Looks very sleek, very user friendly. Loving it so far. So have a question for you regarding the avatars. Will you be able to use this avatar, or are you thinking about using the avatars in other platforms, or using, for instance, taking a picture of the avatar, and the idea is to have them as a profile picture? How do you envision these possibilities with these avatars?
Yeah.
They look really cool.
Yes, absolutely. So this is also the reason. So besides to releasing our own token, we want to add a second chain on our platform to become a multi-chain or a cross-chain platform, because the question you were asking actually, so we want to ensure or enable the portability to different metaverses. So everything you buy on our platform, you should also use on different metaverses. This is our biggest goal. Not just that, we're also turning the perspective. So the football club should also become the go-to place, like where everything comes together. So just imagine if you have a good portfolio of Sorare cards, you can import the Sorare cards into our metaverse, where you can use them for your lineups making on the football club, for example. And also maybe there will be something crossovers to MetaSoccer, for example, where we can use it. There are a lot of other, let's say, collectible marketplaces out there, like let's say Dapper Labs, who will invest into our company, they will also have La Liga moments, for example, and we already talked to them, so we can use La Liga moments, and then you can use them inside of our metaverse.
Okay, great. And there's also a question from the audience. Will there be a website version in the future?
So website version of the game itself, I would say it will be, it's a possibility. So the next step is the marketplace, and the marketplace will be, let's say, 30 to 40% of the whole application without the gaming factor. So, but that's something we have in mind, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you very much, Ante, for presenting it. It looks really great as well. Thank you for showing us a little bit about your project and the game. I'm very excited about what's coming next. Now, let's move on to our next presenter, Nicholas.
Hey, guys, pleasure to be here.
Hi,
Let me share my screen. Perfect. Cool. Pleasure to be here, and thanks so much for the invite. Today I'll be talking a bit about MetaGameHub DAO. I'm the founder of MGH, and our core vision is kind of, the stigma of navigating through the open metaverse together. Right now, there's obviously a lot of different metaverse hypes, right, ongoing when it comes mainly to core metaverse infrastructure. There's a lot of land sales and drops in that sense. And from our perspective, we really wanted to approach the open metaverse, right, not as something where we focus on one respective niche, but where we kind of focus more on the aggregation, which makes it easier also for users to engage with this open ecosystem. We kind of started around now 10, 11 months ago with the idea of, we wanted to basically just
invest into metaverse assets, right, as a collective in the form of our DAO. But we then quickly realized that when it comes to actually the valuations, of course, and I get that's not news, right? There's quite a lot of intransparency when it comes to the pricing, and kind of therefore we started thinking, okay, we can't just raise funds as a DAO and then just invest into different metaverse projects without having any form of, let's say, reference that we can also refer to, in a sense, right, to our investors and members as to why we conduct these investments. So therefore we came up, for instance, with the valuation algorithm, which we developed together with our partners at ITM, who initially kind of focused more on algorithms and big data development for institutions in Latin America, but kind of we pitched them the whole DAO and metaverse spirit, so now they're full-time contributors to us and are kind of the brains, the wizards behind the algorithm that we together developed, which will allow fair price valuations for metaverse assets, with the MVP, for instance, going live, which went live basically 3 months ago for sandbox lands, and now also being live for Decentraland lands, and continuously exploring other avenues in regards to metaverse assets where we can then provide this fair valuation. Another aspect that we discovered, which goes back to more the original idea of just collaboratively acquiring metaverse assets, is the land ownership, which is quite centralized, right? We always talk about the open metaverse and everything is decentralized, but at the same time, if you look actually at the structure, well, of course there is decentralization, but still there's still a lot of, let's say, centralized ownership structures, and often the users on top of these lands, for instance, are quite forgotten. And that's where we as a DAO want to come in and provide members of the DAO access to the lands that we own, and also the chance, obviously, to build stuff on top of these lands. Another aspect, or let's say key issue that we discovered, is the lack of the data utilization within the open metaverse, right? At the end of the day, everything is data, but there's no, let's say, attractiveness, so to say, when it comes to leveraging this data, especially with our metaverse endeavors. So therefore, we do focus combined with the evaluation tool that we developed in the algorithm on fostering data versus, let's say, implementations within the open metaverse, and also the convergence between data as well as the metaverse, where we, apart from the algorithm, for instance, also have a node on chaining where we can provide on-chain pricing valuations for these assets that the algorithm can evaluate, as well as, for instance, we extract the data from the algorithm and then sell the data sets on the Ocean Protocol's data marketplace, where we are one of the top 4 or 5 pools, the data pools, right? At the end of the day, Ocean Protocol, for those that don't know, is a DEX for data, and we are one of the top 4 or 5 data pools there, that in regards to the liquidity and the traction. Another aspect that we, of course, discovered is the limited access to the metaverse in general, which kind of also goes back to the centralized ownership in a couple of or many metaverses, as well as the MetaFi aspect, right, which is obviously the convergence between DeFi and the metaverse. And here, with our tools that we are developing, we do want to tap into that niche and the convergence, because, for instance, myself, I spend quite some time also in the, let's say, more regulated environment in crypto with security tokens and everything, where everyone is always trying to integrate real-world assets into DeFi, but kind of metaverse assets are much more the low-hanging fruit, right? Because it's much more seamless in regards to the process and no regulatory burdens, at least as of now. So that's kind of the core issues that we saw, as well as the core solutions that we want to provide here. Generally, I mean, this is kind of obvious to everyone, so I'll just keep it short here, kind of focusing on this side, right? We do believe that right now we have obviously an ongoing hype when it comes to the basic infrastructure layer, the layer 1, so to say, metaverses. But in the future, if we want these projects to succeed, we obviously have to have the next layer, which is applications, as well as the communities that are leveraging these applications. And this is exactly kind of the niche that we at MGH DAO are tapping into with our tools, and also the community which we are continuously growing. Generally, in a nutshell, right, as mentioned before, we have on the one hand the aspect of the metaverse asset acquisition and management, which then follows a development, for instance, with collaborations that we have with the University of Applied Sciences in Aachen and other universities across Germany, as well as also Columbia, which we leverage to onboard also talent to Web3, also when it comes to the game design and building on top of these lands that we own as a DAO, but also for other brands that we onboard to the space, their respective infrastructure that they can leverage, whether it's for play to earn games, event venues, other aspects like cultural hubs, embassies, or a university campus, which is also currently a project which is ongoing. So there's different angles that we can cope here. And on the other hand, of course, the metaverse tools, right, which then can be divided on the one hand into the data tools, for instance, like the evaluation algorithm, the respective tools for MetaFi, where we are about to launch NFT pools, and in Metaverse Index, as well as perpetual land swaps. And the last aspect would be the metaverse development, where, for instance, our development team is continuously developing editors for respective metaverses, with the MVP for the Decentraland editor about to go live, right? Everyone knows the Sandbox has a game maker, which is quite intuitive. In Decentraland, it is still here and there a bit more difficult, and hence the team decided to develop a mechanism here in place. And when it comes to this entire ecosystem, we, of course, have on the one hand the MGH DAO treasury, which plays a crucial value, as well as the working groups, because our DAO is structured in the respective working groups, which are then, as well as the treasury, governed by the DAO, the community, which basically conducts the decision as well as the asset management, so to say, of our ecosystem. And in this entire ecosystem, we also have the MGH token, which has the true utility of being integrated into the different processes. And then basically all the revenue that is generated has a deflationary impact on the respective MGH token, right? Whenever there's revenue generated, there's an automated buyback and burn mechanism in place to have that continuous buying pressure on the secondary market, as well as generally having the token as a means of deflationary mechanism to also incentivize and reward, of course, the members of the DAO. That's kind of in a nutshell an overview in regards to what we do at MGH. To kind of dissect it a bit further, as mentioned, we have on the one hand the asset and development stage, as well as the other part when it comes to play to earn and GameFi ecosystem that we develop. For instance, for bigger brands that we've started collaborating with for the MetaSoccer aspect, Decentraland metaverse development, as well as, for instance, our Snoop Dogg land next to the Snoopverse in the Sandbox, as well as the Decentraland editor, which I mentioned before. And here, right, we're also currently expanding into other metaverses such as Fluff World and so on, to really have that and foster that metaverse agnostic approach that kind of, whenever you look at MGH DAO, it's kind of the entry point and the aggregator when it comes to the different sub and niche metaverse related projects. When it comes to the tools, right, as I mentioned, we have already a couple of tools live. So here you can, for instance, see the land valuation tool, which is in our DApp, which you can also check out on our landing page. We have the valuation tool, which is currently live for the Sandbox, as well as the Decentraland, where you can just quite easily enter your token ID or your coordinates for the respective land, and you will find a fair price valuation for the respective land in ETH, USDC, or generally US dollar, of course, as well as the native currency of the respective metaverse. We did get a lot of positive feedback from a lot of people in the industry. We already have around 70,000 requests for the tool in the first 3 months. So right now it's for free, but we are about to launch volume 2, so to say, where we'll have a freemium model as well as with intuitive subscription-based models that will make this a bit more sophisticated when it comes to the tool. And also we're about to, of course, expand the respective algorithm, as it always has to be a bit adjusted to different metaverses, to the other, let's say, aspects when it comes to the neighboring lands and so on, and have an impact on the respective pricing. So here, when it comes to this, of course, the everyday users in the metaverse can either leverage the tool directly, or they can also request the on-chain pricing data via our Chainlink node, which is live. And in regard to the MetaFi tools, we, of course, as mentioned, right, are focusing on the NFT pool aspect for metaverse assets, which will then kind of lead also into an index, as well as the perpetual land swaps that we are about to launch in Q3 of this year, which will then also have kind of an incentive or kind of be a tool that the people from the trading side can leverage in regards to approaching the metaverse, right, with all the valuable assets there that can be leveraged and integrated into DeFi seamlessly. In regards to the dataverse aspect, a quick deep dive here, right? I already briefly explained it. There's the 4 different, let's say, streams of revenue that can be generated here. On the one hand, the direct API access to our tool. On the other hand, of course, the datasets via the Ocean Protocols marketplace. as well as the Chainlink node that we are launching, and not launching, that we are hosting, which you can also check out on the Chainlink marketplace. And the last part is, of course, the evaluation tool. And in regards to the generally how the tool works, right? In a nutshell, the user requests the land valuation via our DApp. The information goes to the database. Then basically the algorithm utilizes the historic data of the daily median, neighboring lands, and other factors, which are then fed into the neural networks, which are continuously enhancing and also improving their valuations. And then the specific set of preconditions is utilized, and the prediction is basically then sent back to the database. We also leverage other valuations which is parsed from APIs from CoinGecko as well as Etherscan, which can then provide the final valuation to the user, which is leveraging, of course, mainly price history of the land itself, neighboring lands, as well as also general the market conditions, right, of the respective industry. For instance, the price of ETH, or for instance, for Sandbox land, Sand, for Decentraland land, Mana, to have really that fair price. And currently we are also together with the devs, right, focusing on integrating more sentiment data into the algorithm, that we can actually have also other factors such as, I don't know, social media engagement and general traction for the respective projects influencing the algorithm to really have that fair price valuation. We do have a multi-layer governance. I don't want to talk too much about the token here, right? Because it's really about the tools that we provide. We do, let's say, focus the governments mainly on the open metaverse endeavors, of course. So kind of which lands are we acquiring, on other assets, what kind of ecosystems we are building here. Then we are also governing what and how are the tools, being developed and from whom. We have, for instance, here also, on the one hand, as mentioned, the working groups, but generally within these working groups, we have a grant structure in place to really continuously foster the development within our ecosystem. Then, of course, the IP for the algorithm is collaboratively governed by the DAO itself, as well as generally the Dataverse aspect and the revenue streams, and of course the MetaFi, as well as the ecosystem growth and the operations. We focus on these core areas when it comes to the governance, but of course anyone is welcome to submit proposals to us via Snapshot, where we conduct all the governance of our DAO. Then this is kind of our roadmap in a nutshell. Anyone that's interested, I can also share this, of course. We already conducted an initial funding round of around 1.5 million, mainly from
Nicholas,
other partners. Yeah, sorry.
Nicholas, sorry to interrupt. We're running out of time, so maybe it's time for you to wrap up. Sorry about this, but
sorry, I'm about to come to the end. We already wrapped up the first funding round. We launched the first valuation tool, and now it's basically just about expanding the community and fostering the metaverse agnostic approach more toward the other metaverses that are currently launching and are about to launch, and just generally enhancing the tools. That's just in a nutshell our team of core contributors and people from the working groups. These are the target groups, but as mentioned, anyone that has an interest can just get back to me. We are currently conducting some direct treasury purchases for anyone that's interested, and if you want to collaborate from a technical side, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you very much for sharing it, and it's definitely all of those are definitely very useful tools, and it's a first for me, the first time I listened to MetaFi, and it's definitely a very cool concept. So thank you very much for actually sharing it with us. And we're almost at the end of the event. So let's move on to Jerome. Jerome, you ready?
Yes, let me just share my screen.
Sure.
Share screen. This one, and hello everyone, really happy to be here and to meet all of you and all the projects I've dropped. I don't know if you can see the screen, right? Just let me know.
Yes, we can see it.
Perfect. I think it has frozen on my side then. strange, but let's see how it goes. I've dropped a couple of sites because last but not least, maybe not. I think everyone is tired, so let's get to it in 5 to 10 minutes. I just will take advantage of this presentation to introduce Playtix and obviously Harmonia Goya's Land, our first game. But Playtix is our blockchain gaming studios. So it's the studio behind Harmonia Goya's Land, but it's also a studio that has a vision to bring play-to-earn games to the mass market players. In a nutshell, we want to really produce player-owned economies through mobile gaming. That's something we always wanted. We work on mid-core gamers ourselves on mobile, so we see a great opportunity there. We need a bit of a tech as well, so we have blockchain developers building a tech around the games and around some blockchain already existing, so we can foster the access to those games, but also we can be compliant with stores and have different other options to make it easier for mass market players to join the marketplace and the game. And lastly, this one is also really important in all our game, and especially Harmonia. We want to bring together different blockchain communities with the mass market players. So we want to gather all of them. Obviously not at once. We cannot deploy on every blockchain yet. But for instance, we have already Ethereum, Wax, and Tezos. And we don't want blockchain gamer to be really sealed and confined into one environment. If they prefer another tech, we want to let them at least exploit other marketplaces than ours. That's our main goal. So basically, those player-owned economy, they are on mobile, Apple, Google, and Samsung. We do have the full set of play-to-earn mechanics, but without a cryptocurrency. That's something that is a little bit tricky to apprehend at first, but it works and allows us to be compliant with the stores, mobile stores rule. We have the mobile marketplace linked to the game, and this vision of being a blockchain agnostic, so Ethereum, Wax, and Tezos as a startup. This materializes into 2 games, and I will focus obviously on Harmonia and a set of different technology that we use, such as a logging, a connect, the link to the different marketplaces, and every bit of tech and stack that our studio needs to implement to make this work. So let's get to it very quickly. Harmonia, if you wish, is one of the first animal life simulation, Animal Crossing-like play-to-earn game, focus on mobile. So as former gamers in the founding team, we always wanted to have a gameplay. I mean, for mobile gaming that is elaborated enough, so you can spend quite a lot of time in the game. It's on purpose that during the in-game the in-game day, you cannot undertake every action. So you need to follow a path, think if you want to go right or left, if you want to do this quest, or if you want to do these mini games. And you will have different other actions linked to the economical games. So we don't have a gaming cryptocurrency, but we have exactly the same type of action: rewards, stacking, crafting new NFTs, also unlocking the craft of new NFTs, voting system as well, so governance and utility tokens also. So that's very interesting, especially if you think about mass market players. They don't need to go to decentralized exchange. They can get on user-friendly marketplaces. And also by removing the cryptocurrency, we avoid probably legal risk as well. In Harmonia, something that I've heard quite a lot today, and I'm really happy for that, is also to give the possibility to those mass market players, to those non-initiates, to those neophytes to join the game, digest the game, and then enter the full economy as well. That's something we really wanted to do, but of course we had to implement also an economical wall. Otherwise, your game can be bullied quite a lot. Blockchain gamers, they are pretty good developers, a lot of them. So we have combined all of that to do something that will give a little bit breadcrumbs to the mass market players so they can digest the game and then really get themselves educated on NFTs, dedicated marketplace, different type of NFTs, etc., etc. So starts with the daily quest, the mini games, taking care of your animals, doing the quest, go fishing, for instance, and then start looking into NFTs and an NFT economy. I'll keep that very short so we can move on that, just explaining the different type of NFT we have. One thing that can be, though, very interesting is that they have obviously immutable characteristics, but mutable as well. So depending on the NFTs, the types of NFTs, you may not evolve them the same way. So a tree has different characteristics than an animal, and it's not better or worse to have one of them. It gives you different possibilities and different possibilities of being rewarded as well. We have a lot of gameplay as well. Not everything will be launched at the same time. We are going to launch a beta and first pre-sales as well next month. And the V1 with more or less 80% of the features will be launched in end of September or October. And every 2 months, then we want to release new updates and new features as well. So for instance, you have 7 NPCs. So different actions, you can trade with them. Obviously, you can trade with other players on the marketplace, but really it's a very rich and full game with the entire play-to-earn economic again. So cooperative for us. It's also a tool to avoid macro inflation. It's also a tool to regulate, so you can get rewarded with that. You can have votes then on the next close, on the next tools that can be used on the map, etc., etc. I just want to take 1 minute to talk about the second game. So here it's also a mass market game around soccer. One more, you will say, but I think a lot of us like soccer. But it's really an arcade lake soccer. So it's more or less a mix between a Clash Royale for the deck management, but also the ranking system. And in the live gameplay, it's more or less a FIFA Street or a Mario Striker Charge Football, if you know that. So it's very dynamic. It's very fun. It's a multiplayer game, then 1 versus 1, and then we'll go with the mode to 2 versus 2. And it's really a competitive game. So here, your skill matter. With your skills, you can be rewarded. Again, without a gaming cryptocurrency, but all the play-to-earn mechanics. The team, I just want to take advantage of this presentation to present very quickly the awesome team that I have a chance to work with all day. So we are 15 right now with former entrepreneurs, a combination of blockchain developers, obviously gaming programmers as well, artists, game designer, sound designer, and the marketing team. We are also being advised by a former managing director at Ubisoft Germany and Austria for the gaming side. We structure ourselves thanks to the advice of an senior executive, former at KPMG and now at Cognizant. And we have a former business angel from Voodoo for the financing part. I will stop there. I think we are all a little bit tired, so I can maybe save you a couple of minutes. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask me.
Thank you very much, Jerome. I see that soccer has been one of the topics of today, so it's really cool, actually. And maybe you can find some synergies among you guys.
Probably tips and branding.
Yeah. No, it looks really great, and I saw it's a mobile game. But do you think that it can become a website or a web-based game as well, as someone asked previously?
Yes. So our focus is really to make it work very smoothly on mobile. But then we will make a portage as well for a desktop version. Priority one is still the mobile, but we are thinking about that, and it will be done a couple of months later as well.
Okay, cool. Well, it looks great. Thank you very much for sharing. And well, that will be all for today. Thank you very much. And I know that during these events, it's a lot of information because luckily there are a lot of new members every month. And thank you very much for you guys for being part of the BGA, and to anyone else who is watching it. You just remember that it's a place for you to learn about what's going on in the blockchain gaming space and what new projects, new exciting games to actually play, to get to know, and of course to keep an eye on, as some of them are very nascent and some of them have been developing for quite a few times. So yeah, it's definitely, for me, it's one of my favorite spaces that we usually host. Let's just remember as well that on Friday, we have a demo day, which is another opportunity for you to get to know, if you don't already know, some amazing games and projects that are happening in the blockchain gaming space. So same time on Friday, I invite you to log in as well to check who will be presenting. We will announce in very shortly. So keep an eye on our social media as well. Yeah, that's it. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for watching it, and hope you had a good time as we all did. Hopefully, thank you very much, and see you on Friday.
Thanks for having us. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.